Someone asks you at a party, and what do you do? You respond quickly, but internally, there's a choice about which version of you will appear. That question is loaded in adulthood, and work is more than just about money. Work instilled beliefs about your meaning, even unexamined ones. Born in 1973, your parents worked in Brazil during the dictatorship, industrialization, and the middle class's rise. Your father left early, returned tired, embodying dignity and obligation. Work wasn't questioned for satisfaction or purpose. Those were luxuries for few. You learned without realizing it. Your parents' work instilled beliefs. Hard work is a virtue, complaining is ingratitude, and rest must be earned. Study so you don't have to do what I do. This phrase carried love and a belief in the hierarchical value of jobs. This belief appears in career choices and explanations to children. It never vanished, just became more sophisticated. The work you chose in adulthood was a response to childhood work, sometimes to repeat, sometimes to prove something different was possible. Late 80s, early 90s. You're 16, 17. Brazil with astronomical inflation, sometimes 80% a month. You wanted to work not mainly for money, but for independence, identity beyond school. The first job taught things school didn't. Real hierarchy, unwritten rules, and that punctuality symbolizes respect or power. You learn more in the first 6 months of work than in years of school. This cliché was true. Work taught you to navigate a real power system with real consequences. The first job revealed the world wasn't waiting for you, but for what you did. This brutal distinction was the first step in reconciling who you are with what you do. You're 20. Brazil in the 90s. The real plan launched. 1994. Inflation subsides, and the future feels planable. A career becomes something to build, not just something that happens. You start thinking about 5, 10 years ahead, about the professional you want to be. Work quickly became identity. You were what you did. When asked who you were, you answered with your job. I work a lot, but it's what I like. This phrase, said with pride, was both true and a warning. Liking to work a lot differs from needing to work a lot to feel whole. In youth, you rarely know which is speaking. The generation entering the market in the 90s was the first to have career ambition as a mainstream value. It paid a price decades later, discovering it built identity on a foundation that could be laid off. 30 years old. Your career takes shape. You have a position, a company, a place in the hierarchy explained in a few words. Words that do silent work in social environments. At family gatherings, I work at a big bank, implies stability and prestige. With former schoolmates, I'm a manager at a multinational positions you. I have my own business, implies risk and autonomy. You calibrated your response. You didn't lie, but chose the angle. The version of your trajectory that best served the context. Not out of dishonesty, but social intelligence, like turning the wine label outward. Professional pride in your 30s is genuine. You built something. But there's also relief. Relief of having a convincing answer to, and what do you do? You knew how to answer, and it impressed. The career of the 30s was both an external symbol and an internal anchor. It told the world who you were and confirmed the path was worth it. 40 years old. The peak. You're at your career's highest point. Experience, network, reputation, technical capacity, all at their best. Work is going well. Projects succeed. Recognition arrives. And you're well, as a direct consequence. Work was going well, so you were going well. This fusion seemed natural until it was tested. At 40, serious professional crises arrive. A project goes off track. The company changes direction. A partner leaves. A layoff. yours or someone close, makes real a possibility that seemed abstract. You discover how much of me was actually my work. I don't know what to do with my life without this. This phrase, said in crisis, is a revelation. It's when the fusion becomes visible because it's threatened. You realize you built a solid identity on a foundation others can remove. The work that goes well carries you. The work that goes poorly asks back something you didn't know you lent. The conviction of who you are. You're 50. The Brazil of 2023 is unrecognizable from 1993. Professions have changed. Some no longer exist. Others, unnamed at your birth, are now careers. You're in this transformation, not as an observer, but as someone who reinvented themselves multiple times. Your generation is the first to learn to work differently mid-career, not at the beginning, but when you had a working method. This demand for reinvention was a deep crisis of the 50s, not the dramatic existential crisis of the 40s. The 50s crisis is quieter. The map you used for decades no longer fits the territory. I worked my whole life to get here, and here changed while I was arriving. This phrase, said with bitterness or humor, is the epitaph of an era. It's also a beginning, because those who reached 50 questioning their map have what the market needs, wisdom to know what doesn't change. The work of the 50s shifts from identity to legacy. Not what you are, what you leave behind. This transition is gradual, but changes the weight of every professional decision. Work has never been just about money. In childhood, it was a lesson in dignity. In the first job, it was belonging. At 20, it was identity in construction. At 30, a social symbol. At 40, it was where you lived more than any house. And at 50, it became a question. The most honest question work can ask is, without me, are you still someone? The mature answer, built over decades, is yes. But it took time to know that, and the path cost more than expected. The work you do is what you do. It's not what you are. But maintaining this distinction is so difficult most can only do it when work stops, by crisis, choice, or time. Your generation glorified work as identity and now faces its cost. Burnout isn't individual weakness. It's the bill of a culture that confused production with value, taught rest needs to be deserved, and stopping is losing. The most important work you will do may not appear on your resume. It's separating who you are from what you do. Discovering who you are is enough, with or without a position, company, or answer to the most loaded question of adult life. If you lost your job tomorrow, without choice, without warning, what would you feel you lost besides the salary? Answer honestly. This question defines everything.